Okay, so today we are going to talk about 3.2, which is solving and graphing one-step inequalities. And in our last set of notes in 3.1, we talked about the symbols and how to graph them and how to write inequalities from a sentence in a graph. So we're going to kind of flip that around today, and you're going to be solving just like we did with our equations. So our goal for all of these when we're solving inequalities is the same as it was with equations. We want to isolate the variable, which means get it by itself, right, on the one side. And we're going to do that by always doing the inverse operation. So the inverse means we're going to do the opposite. Okay, so if it's addition, we're going to subtract. If it's multiplication, we're going to divide, okay? So always doing the inverse when we're doing that. Now, because we talked yesterday about how if it's x equals 2, that means there's one specific answer. But if it's x is greater than 2, there's so many answers that we don't know how many even to count, right? So in order to do that, we have to graph on the number line. Today, that's what you're going to be doing. Once you solve, you're going to be taking that number and graphing it on a number line. Again, just as a recap, just a few numbers with the hash marks. Remember that less than and greater than mean an open circle. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to mean it's a closed circle. So this would be open because there's no greater to or greater than. Equal to. And then this says x is greater, so we're going to go to the right. Okay? All right, let's try a few. So our first one, x minus 5 is less than negative 3. Again, the opposite. So this would be add 5 to both sides. Watch your signs. X drops, symbol drops. Negative 3 plus 5 would be 2. And so I have my number line real quick. Again, just a few little hash marks. 1, 2, 3. This would be open because there's no equal to. And it says x is less than. Little n comes first. So less than would be left. Okay, good. Let's go to the next one. We've got y minus 6 is greater than negative 7. So again, the opposite would be addition. These are canceling. Y, symbol drops. Negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. So negatives on the number line, remember, go backwards. So I would do negative 2, negative 1, 0. Okay. Greater than means it's an open circle because there's no equal to. And greater numbers go to the right. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We've got b minus 3.8 is less than or equal to 1.7. So again, I'm going to add. Okay, these are gone. B drops, less than or equal to, and this would be 5.5. All right, so decimals, same thing. Doesn't matter to me, like we talked about yesterday. It doesn't matter how you count. I'm just going to do by 1. So 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. This would be shaded in because it's equal to, and it's less than. Little n comes first, so I'm going to go to the left. It's pointing in the direction that you're going to shade if that variable is on the left side. All right, and here's our last one for this part. I'm going to add 1/4. Now remember, this one slipped around, so when we go to graph, it'll be backwards. So if you want to rewrite it, you can do that. 1/2 plus 1/4 would give me 3/4 is greater than z. So fractions, like we talked about yesterday, you can count by fractions if you want. If you want to count by wholes again, that's fine. But I'm going to count by fourths. So this is going to be 1/2 or 2/4. 3/4 and 4/4 would be 1 whole. This is an open circle because it doesn't have an equal to. And then on this one, like I said, z is on the back side, so you have to read it from z. So z is less than 3/4. So that would be going this way, to the left. If you don't like this way, again, you can always flip it around, but you have to flip the symbol too. So you would flip this, flip the symbol, and then look at it this way. And you can see that it's pointing to the left. Okay, good job. All right, let's do some addition problems. So, I think I accidentally got my equal to line here underneath the wrong part. So, all right, so we've got 13 is less than or equal to x plus 14. So it's adding 14. I'm going to subtract. These are gone. This gives me -1 is less than or equal to x. Again, it's written backwards, so if you want to flip it around, it would be x is greater than or equal to -1. Okay, always flip the symbol in the middle as well if you're going to rewrite it. Again, negatives are written backwards, so -2, -1, 0. Filled in because it's equal to. And then x is greater than or equal to -1. So greater than would be to the right. Okay, let's go to the next one. We have w plus 7 is less than or equal to 4. So I have, do the opposite. We've got subtract 7 since it's being added. All right, w drops, less than or equal to drops, and 4 minus 7 would be -3. Here's my number line. Again, counting backwards for negatives, so -4, -3, -2. Close circle, because it has the equal to, and less than. W is less than or equal to. So again, it's pointing to the left, like an arrow. So we're going to shade to the left. All right. Pardon me there. I kind of got all my equal signs kind of off on those, so I had to redraw. So again, written backwards. So adding 10 means we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. Those cancel. 12.5 minus 10 is 2.5. Simple drops. Here comes D. If you want to rewrite it, you would have D is less than or equal to 2.5. Decimals, so we can count however you want. I'm going to do halves this time. So 2, 2.5, 3. It's a closed circle because it's equal to, and less than means we're going to the left. Okay, hopefully this is very familiar to you. You should have done this last year in 8th grade as well, and if not, maybe the year before that. So, but the one step in the solving should definitely be familiar because we just did that in all of our last unit. Okay, so 3/4 is going to be moved by subtraction. X is greater than, and then we have 1 1/2 minus 3/4, which gives us 3/4 again. Got a lot of the same numbers repeating here. So I'm going to count by ones this time. So I'll do, 1/4 again. So let's do 1/2, 3/4, and 1. So then we would have open circle because it doesn't have an equal to, and greater than means we're going to the right. Excellent. Okay. Now, before we move on, special rule here. When we multiply or divide by, this word by is a big one here, by a negative, the symbol flips direction. So what I'm talking about is the number that you are actually writing down on both sides is a negative. Then the symbol, meaning the greater than or less than symbol, actually flips direction. So it becomes less than if it's greater than and vice versa. So it looks something like this. If I have negative 3x is less than 24, I'm dividing by negative 3. So the number I'm writing down on both sides is a negative. That means that this symbol in the middle, okay, is going to flip direction and become greater than. And then our answer would be negative 8. Okay? So you have to remember that. That's probably one of the most missed things when it comes to the test for this unit. Forgetting to flip that symbol, because if you forget to flip it, then your graph is wrong as well. Okay, so we have 4b is greater than or equal to 2. This is multiplication, so we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. No negatives here, so nothing to worry about with this one. And 2 over 4 would be 1/2. All right. So again, just a few hash marks. I'm going to do 1/2, 1 and 1/2, and then 2 and 1/2. Close circle on 1/2, and greater than or equal to means I'm going to the right. Okay. All right, next one. We've got negative y over 2 is greater than or equal to 0.5. Excuse me. So times 2. Okay. These are gone. I've got negative y is greater than or equal to half of 2 would be 1. Now, negative y is like negative 1y, so we have to divide by negative 1. Now, here we go. I'm dividing by a negative, so my symbol has to flip. So y greater than or equal to becomes less than or equal to, and then I have negative 1 for my answer. Counting backwards, close circle, and then less than means to the left. Okay. Hopefully we're feeling good about these. All right, this one's written backwards. So negative 15 is less than 2.5q. So I'm going to divide by 2.5 on both sides. Now, there's a negative in this problem, but I'm not dividing by a negative. The number I'm writing down is positive. Okay, so my symbol is going to stay exactly the same. Negative 15 divided by 2.5 is negative 6. Okay, again, written backwards. So if you need to flip it, we're going to flip everything. Q is greater than negative 6. Draw my line. Negatives count backwards, so I've got negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, open circle, and greater than is to the right. Okay, letter D gives me negative 12k, so I'm going to divide by negative 12. Hopefully you're noticing here I'm dividing by a negative. So k drops, my symbol flips, and this would be negative 2. All right, again, negative, so again, counting backwards. Open circle on negative 2, and greater than means we're going to the right. Okay. Last few here. If you want to, pause the video and see if you can do them on your own. Otherwise, keep on rolling with me. So, again, written backwards here to kind of practice that. I have 6/5, so I'm going to divide by 6/5. If you want to, you can multiply by the reciprocal, which is 5 over 6. I'm not dividing by a negative, so this is going to stay exactly the same. And I've got negative 12 divided by 6/5, which is negative 10. Written backwards, so we're going to think about that as we're graphing. I have negative 11, negative 10, negative 9, open circle, And from m, it says m is less than negative 10. So less is left. All right, 2 more. We have 6x is greater than negative 18. This is multiplication, so I'm going to divide. It's a negative, but I'm not dividing by a negative, so this is going to stay. And I've got negative 3. So backwards, I put a lot of negatives in here. Open circle, because it's greater than, I'm going to go to the right. Okay, oops, last one. I have x over negative 3 is greater than negative 4. So I'm going to multiply by the denominator, which is a negative. If I'm multiplying by a negative, my symbol has to flip, so this is less than, and a negative times a negative gives me a positive. 11, 12, 13. Open circle again. Less than is to the left. Okay? Now, pause and try these 4 on your own. Okay, hopefully this is becoming routine. I'm just going to kind of go through these real quick. Y is greater than or equal to negative 9. If I graph this, counting up, close circle, greater than is to the right. Over here we would have, subtract 8 from both sides. This is gone. X is greater than. Then we'd have negative 22. So backwards for the numbers. Open circle and read it backwards. So x is greater than to the right. Down here we've got multiplication. So I'm going to divide. Dividing by a negative. So I'm going to flip it. And 90 divided by negative 6 gives me negative 15. Open circle. And greater than is to the right. Last one. T divided by 5 means we're going to multiply by 5. These are gone. Then we have T is greater than or equal to 12.5. Decimal means you can kind of do what you want. So I'm going to do 12, 12 and a half, 13. Close circle, and greater than is to the right again. Okay, hopefully you did okay. Let me know if you have questions.